right, we are just rounding out week 5. Let's go ahead and jump on the scales, get our weigh-ins done, see how you guys did last week. Let's see if you can keep the momentum going of losing, kicking those pesky pounds to the curb.
Kia Himmel, 187.2.
Carmen, this is Afia Perkins, 202.8.
Good morning, Miss Carmen. This is Ken Brown, and I'm at 196.2. And 243.4.
Cam Chamoy, 154.1.
Jerry Merrick, 219.4.
Good morning, Carmen. This is Catherine. $141.6.
Zach, £215.
All right, Carmen, Afia's weight, 202.2. Hopefully I can delete the other video.
Decimal Idaho, 199.2. 199.2.
Heather C. Ana Lopez, 175.6.
I have some standings. 13th place, down 7 pounds, 4.35%, Pam. In 12th place, down 13 pounds, 5.57%, Heather C. In 11th place, down 8.6 pounds, 5.85%, Corey. In 10th place, down 12.2 pounds, 6.11%, Kia. In 9th place, down 9.2 pounds, 6.12%, Catherine, losing 4.4 pounds this week. Good job, girlfriend. In 8th place, down a total of 9.6 pounds, 6.34%, April. In 7th place, down 10.9 pounds, 6.52%, Adesua. In 6th place, down a total of 12.6 pounds, 6.69%, Myrna. In 5th place, down 15.8 pounds, 7.24%, Afia. That means in 4th place, kicking her out of the 3rd place spot, down a total of, while traveling, while being sick, down a total of 22.2 pounds, 8.35%, Heather N. Moving up to 4th place. Awesome job. In 3rd place, down 26.5 pounds total, 11.07%, Zach. Awesome job, buddy. 4 pounds down again this week. In 2nd place, down 31.4 pounds in the past 5 weeks, 12.51%, Jerry. Jerry, you lost 7.5 pounds last week. You were like coming back after the scale, giving you a middle finger the week before. You were like, oh no, sucker. And in first place, holding down the first place spot 2 weeks in a row, down a total of 29.8 pounds in the past 5 weeks, 13.09%, Ken. And so a 0.5% separates first and second place. A grand total of 34.4 pounds this week, 214.2 pounds gone, lost, kicked to the curb in the past 5 weeks. And I know this last week, we just crossed our 30-day mark inside of the program. So to be just over 30 days and to have the cast, you lose 214 pounds is pretty freaking incredible. This week, we are going to talk about something that is vital. And it is something that diet culture does not talk about at all. At all. And this is why I am never a fan of dieting or diets, because in diet culture, the whole premise is to change your behavior for a certain amount of time. And then when you get to your goal, the whole thing is then you can go back to living life. Then you can go back to whooping it up. Then you can go back to doing all the things that got us fluffy in the first place, which if we actually stop to think about it, if we got to the goal and then we went back to the obese behavior, if we went back to the morbidly obese behavior, what would eventually happen to our body? It'd go right back, because the one thing that diet culture never talks about, never focuses on, is your habits. First, we form our habits, and then our habits form us. And so if you show me somebody who has a healthy weight, who is a healthy person, they have healthy habits when it comes to their health. If you show me somebody who doesn't have good health, they have bad habits when it comes to their health. If you show me somebody who is succeeding in business, they have good habits that are working inside of their business. If you show me someone who is struggling in business, they've typically created some bad habits when it comes to business. Same thing inside of marriage. If we are struggling in our marriage, we typically have some bad habits. If our marriage is thriving, we've created good habits. And, you know, the thing that I don't think is so that we tend to think about, or that I tend to hear a lot with people, is we almost act like our society almost acts like we're a victim to our habits, versus we are the creator of our habits. I hope you caught that. We're not a victim to our bad habit. We created all of our habits. Nobody pops out of their mama's womb, you know, being like a people pleaser. Nobody pops out of their mama's womb scrolling social media for hours a week. No one pops out of their mama's womb, you know, down in 12 Coors Lights on a Saturday night. Like we don't pop out of our parents' womb, our mom's womb, with bad habits. We create them over time. And so when I say, first you form your habits, and then your habits will form you, it'll form your life, it'll form your current situation. The good news about that is, think about it. Think about if you were a victim to your habits, if you didn't have control over them. Well, that would suck, actually. That would really suck, because that would mean you couldn't change anything. And so tonight we're going to actually be talking about habits. And then we're going to actually talk about your homework. When we move over to you guys and we chit chat with you, we're going to talk about your homework last week, which I can't wait to hear about. I was quite surprised with some of the things y'all sent me. I was like, wow, no way. That's incredible. Like it was really fun to look at your guys' homework. And so our habits, okay? Habits are things we do without even thinking. They are things we do without even thinking. All right. Have you ever been driving to work or home or to Walmart, and you get there and all of a sudden you can't remember part of the drive? Like, you know, you got to work, but it's like you can't even recall a part of the drive. It's because you've done it so many times that autopilot just took over. Okay. And so when we create a habit, That's kind of what happens. When we get inside of a certain situation, we zone out or we kind of go on autopilot, if you will. And we can create habits with our health, in our marriage, in our work life. We can create habits with our finances. We can create habits with how we handle situations, how we handle stress, how we handle, we can create habits around the way we think. We can create habits around the way we react or respond. Habits are, if you look around your life and you look around an area in your life that you're not satisfied with, I guarantee you will identify bad habits. Guaranteed. Because and the thing about habits is the first thing we have to do is identify what are our bad habits. Because our habits, what are the habits that led me to where I don't want to be? When I was 288 pounds and I was morbidly obese, it was really important for me to be real with myself and say, because I was in so much denial. Like, I did not think I was like every other morbidly obese chick. I just did not see myself the way I saw all the other morbidly obese people. And I really thought I just ate too little and I just had bad genetics and I was big boned and all the things. And it wasn't until I had to get real with myself and say, no, Carmen, it's because you have morbidly obese habits. If you're morbidly obese, you have morbidly obese habits. If you're overweight, guess what kind of habits you have? Overweight habits. If you are not healthy, then it's because you don't have healthy habits. And so if you look at every area, and for some people, that's a really hard pill to swallow, taking personal responsibility for exactly where you're at and the exact habits that you have. Now, the good thing about habits is we can create new habits. Because if you're not where you want to be in any area, there are bad habits that exist around that area. So with that being said, first thing when it comes to your habits is you have to recognize the bad habit. If we look at the definition of a habit, it says it's a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. So a settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Wikipedia says a habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. The American Journal of Psychology says a habit is a fixed way of thinking, feeling, willing, or a feeling acquired through previous repetition of a mental experience. So the only thing that forms a habit is repetition. Doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And you will form a habit whether you do it bad or good. You'll just form good habits or bad habits. So eventually, once you do it enough, it becomes subconscious. And so habits that you don't even think about, it could be making your kids lunch and popping a pretzel in your mouth. It could be overreacting about the scale. It could be overreacting about little things that you cannot control. That's actually the habit. Because I'm guessing those of you that do overreact about the scale, you probably can look at the rest of your life and see little things that you also overreact on that aren't worth your time. Getting mad when you're, reacting, giving your spouse the silent treatment when they don't do what you want them to do. I know none of y'all probably ever done anything that immature. You've probably seen other people do it, but I know none of you guys have ever done anything that immature. I totally have. I grew up watching my parents do it. I mean, I'm not blaming them, but yeah. And I always said I would never have a marriage like my parents. I would never have their marriage. A year into marriage, here I am slamming doors, walking around, all snarly looking, not talking to them. What's wrong? Nothing. Such a wench. Stinking thinking. Thinking negative. Gossiping can be a habit. Complaining can be a habit. Oh, I got all this water left to drink. No, I can't have the chocolate cake. Being a victim can be a habit. No, Carmen, she told me I can't have any chocolate or I'm gonna get kicked out of the program. And then we got these guys at the top losing like 30 pounds in 5 weeks. Some making me look bad. Comparison can be a habit. Comparing your results to other people's results can be a habit. Having to have the last word, always being right. Thinking too higher of yourself than you ought to. Thinking too lower of yourself than you ought to. Some of you guys give yourselves too much credit. Some of you guys don't give yourselves enough credit. Eating to celebrate something good happening, habit. Spending money on something we don't need, habit. Snapping at your kids can be a habit. I have a habit of playing with my hair. I'm sure you've all noticed. We have habits, and some of them don't matter, right? Like me playing with my hair, it doesn't keep me from any goals. It doesn't do anything like that. I used to have a habit when I spoke to say a lot. I would say a lot. I had to train myself out of saying a lot. Okay. And so figuring out the habits, and as you start looking for them, it's just like a couple weeks ago when I had you guys look for triggers. When you started looking for your triggers, some of you guys came in thinking you didn't have any until you started looking for them. And as soon as you started looking, you were like, wow, look at this big giant collection of triggers I have. Habits are the same way. When you actually start looking at why am I where I'm at, what behavior, where are the habits, what do I do without even thinking about it? So eating, for some of you, it could be you eat when you're alone. That could be a habit. Or you eat at night. That could just be a habit. You eat when you drive. That was a real big habit for me, eating when I drove. Just when I got in the car, I thought I needed to eat. And so these habits, though, here's what I will tell you. They are vitally important, and they are not simply going to go away.
Okay, so my biggest habit that needs to go, I would say, is probably just, it would definitely be overindulgence.
My biggest habit that I'm going to get rid of first is I don't put myself first.
I would say probably, if I'm being completely honest, distractions. I am a slave to my phone. I definitely have a habit of getting on my phone, playing games on my phone, or social media, just because I'm bored, just out of sheer boredom. So I could be on Pinterest looking at recipes for hours. I'm sure that's part of like food addiction or something, but
the one habit, I have many, but the one habit that I think manifests at work as well as with my diets or my lifestyle changes is procrastination.
The biggest habit that needs to go away from my life is rejecting routine or ritual.
Carmen, this is one of those deep ones because it also involves my wife, and it's something that a habit that I picked up. We had twins. This has been going on for years, and so I had a very bad habit of swinging by and helping my family because I would grab dinner on the way home.
A habit that I really am working on is really mine is to say that I'm not a morning person.
The biggest habit that I have that currently needs to go is around procrastination.
Overconsumption. That's my habit that needs to change.
The habit that I've got to kick is inferiority for me. I've always felt inferior pretty much my entire life. And that inferiority makes me feel like it's, what I'm doing is never good enough. So then I work harder to compensate for feeling that it's not good enough.
habits. Well, the first thing that came to mind was my unhealthy sleep habits.
Choosing convenience.
Okay, so my one habit that I know, which last week was challenging for me, as y'all know. And so I just did a lot of self-reflection. And I think that I know that my one habit, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome, but I do feel like it's my own self-doubt.
You have to go in there with your roundup and you have to dig them up and kick them out. Last week, your homework, you were picking out 3 goal outfits that if you were at your goal weight, if you were walking around at your right size body, if you were walking around looking how you wanted to look, what would you wear? Like, what would, if you could walk into any store and clothe yourself with anything, what would it be? And so I want to know from you, what did it feel like doing that assignment? What did it feel like picking out the outfits?
So picking out my goal outfits, I actually picked out a ton of them. And it felt really good for me, the outfits that I chose that I sent were ones that showed that my stomach would be flattened, which was a good feeling because right now I buy clothing around that.
I have been losing and gaining the same 30 pounds. So I don't have a wardrobe. I have a wardrobe range. So there's the big girl stuff that's in the closet right now, but there's boxes of other sizes of stuff. So as I put it on and it's too big, it goes in the donation box and they're leaving once a week. That leaves the house, it's gone. So I just want to shrink through all the boxes. So I dug out some of the smallest ones and sent you pictures of, like the little bathing suit and the little teeny tiny jeans. And so they're already here. They're just waiting for me to shrink back into them.
So you know what? It was exciting. It was exciting because instead of that, looking at clothes like that and thinking, oh, that's a dream, I'll never be able to fit into stuff like that or wear stuff like that. As I lose a little bit more and just learn more and feel more confident that this journey is going to go well, because it is, it's an attainable goal. And I could be wearing those outfits next year. And that's exciting. For me, being a stay-at-home mom for the past 15 years, I wouldn't know what fashion was if I was in a runway, either way. It's exciting, all the new things that have come out, and it's fun. It's exciting.
So then the process of looking at the outfits was exhilarating, it was motivating, it was fun. It was the art of the impossible, but it was the art of the possible because I picked out a bathing suit that's a 2-piece, and it wasn't a string bikini, but it was a 2-piece, and I actually ordered it. And it came in the mail and I put it on. And I probably, when I get to my goal weight, I will need to go down a couple of sizes, but I just wanted to purchase it so I had it. So that was inspiring. And the other outfits were outfits that show my belly. And that's an area that I've always had a big belly. I talked about the peplum tops. I have one right now, that's what I wore to work today. And so being able to have a shirt that actually cut out, you can actually see your belly skin, and it's not lots of fluff. That's what I'm most excited about. So it was really inspiring and exciting and motivating.
What did it feel like to start dressing my future body? That was kind of fun because I don't know if I've said yet, but even when I'm a smaller size, it's very hard for me to buy a dress because it'll either fit the top half of my body or the bottom half of my body. So just I think a couple of my outfits were dresses because I have a hard time. I don't buy dresses unless they go all the way to the floor and they're flowy around everywhere. They just don't fit. So it was exciting.
So obviously, being on stage and doing the things that we do, being able to pick out outfits that I have suits in my closet that I wore, 7 years ago that I can't get in. I still can't get in them. So part of that is just going back and being able to put some of the clothes on that I've actually had to get back in that healthy place and stay there. So, but I love being able to pick out. There's obviously some Italian suits and stuff that I sent you that I absolutely love that it helped me pick out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So what did it feel like to pick out my goal outfits? It's actually some of the things that I picked out were thinking for a date night, but here's the kicker about that. It wasn't for Ken, because I normally for a date night I would buy something to really, look good for him. But sometimes that hasn't worked out very well for me because he doesn't make the comments that I want him to say on our date nights, or then, I have it in my head, like what he's going to say or what he's going to do. So I'm buying those outfits so that when I go out on a date night with him, I feel good. I feel excited to go out on a date with him. So those are some of the things that excited me, and just changing my perspective that's for me, and that I'm doing this for me and what I want to do for myself to really feel confident and to feel good, just as a human being, as a woman, but also as a wife.
As far as the outfits go, picking the outfits, that was very fun because, and I think Kia had maybe mentioned this in the Marco Polo group, kind of gave you a chance to dream, like hadn't really dreamt about that in a while, like about how you would clothe yourself, how you show yourself to the world. And I always had, like in high school, I always had like a pretty fun and bizarre sense of fashion, and it came out of just kind of like, wanting to be noticed. And I didn't even think of this until tonight, was I started wearing a lot of, like, I wear a lot of gray V-necks, and I didn't even realize why. At first I thought, oh, it's for simplicity. So that's like one less choice I have to make in the morning. And then I could just go about my day. But I didn't realize it till tonight. It's like, because I don't want people to notice me for being fluffy. And if I wear what I would love to wear in my mind's eye, which for you is like a lot of kind of bold colors and suits and things where just like I'd like to wear things that I don't want to cover up my belly, horizontal stripes, broad colors, a jacket that I can button, things like that. But I was thinking, like, I see myself wearing like bolder things, but I would like that to be the thing people notice me for, and not that and the fact that I'm fluffy.
Honestly, at first it was surreal. Like, I've been taking pictures over the past several months of the outfits I like that I want to wear. But in my mind, it was like, it's what I want to wear. It's not something I'll actually ever be able to do, It was just inconceivable. And now that, y'all, I am 17 pounds away from goal weight. I can't even believe it. I am hoping I will be 139 pounds next Monday, which I've never done that in my adult life. So I am like, I'll probably be calling you off. Look at the scale. But now I'm starting to believe it's possible. And I've been taking pictures, and I'm noticing I have really thick legs. I've always had that my whole life. And I'm seeing my legs change. And I'm like, wow, maybe I will be able to wear shorts and, so it's exciting. I'm hopeful. It's fun. And I'll go back to excited. I'm really excited.
Oh man, ever since I watched season 3, actually, it inspired me to get a Pinterest board going. And it just like Zach was saying, I just felt like when he and I applied for season 5, it felt like all of a sudden it gave us permission to dream again. Like we'd been stuck. I had felt stuck for so long. And so it just feels so exciting. It feels like hope for the future to actually look at these concrete things that we would be putting on our bodies and, you know, presenting ourselves to the world like this, like Zach was saying. And I even had a vision when we applied. All these things started dropping into my mind, all these dreams that I could all of a sudden imagine. And I had this vision of Zach and I celebrating New Year's together out on the town, me in this classy, I thought very classy red dress that I had seen in a department store months before we even started this. And for some reason it caught my eye. And that was just, I had no idea it was even significant. But then when we were looking up our celebrity inspirations, I saw Reese Witherspoon wearing a dress that was so similar, and she's 5'1" and I'm 5'2", and she was drinking champagne in this glorious red dress. And then the other day when I was in a vintage shop with my daughter, I saw, I kid you not, Calvin Klein red dress in a size 6. And I have no idea when I've ever worn a size 6, and I'm far away from it right now. But my friends, I am going to be in a size 6 someday, and probably even smaller than that. And so I just love that. I don't know, like these visions are getting so much clearer now, and they're actually feeling possible. So I bought that dress at the vintage shop the other day. I own that red dress now, and Zach and I are going to celebrate New Year's, and it's going to be amazing. And I just don't think I would have even had the chutzpah to say that a month ago, you know. It's amazing.
So for my outfit, picking out an outfit, that was very exciting. I picked out a cobalt blue bathing suit. I have a blouse, and I have a jumpsuit, and I have a dress. Now we're gonna go for the bathing suit. Another outfit that I picked was fitted. I've been embarrassed of wearing fitting clothes. So we're gonna break that and look at me, not be bothered by it. And also, I don't want to just look skinny. I want to look fit. You know, I'm doing the exercises, I'm putting in the work. So I want my clothes to reflect that. So one of the dresses was also a red outfit, and it's gonna be like, oh, no, she's skinny. It's like, no, she's fit.
For my outfit, so I do religiously Rent the Runway. I love Rent the Runway, and I have been renting in a 14-16 size, and my excuse is that they're couture gowns, and that's why they're tight on me, not because I'm fluffy, but because they're couture, and that's what happens. So I had, and I realized when I did the exercise, I spend about an hour trying to pick my 4 outfits I'm going to get in my package. I spend an hour doing that because I'm having to think of, you know, is this going to show my girdle? I wear a girdle, Spanx, and squeams. I wear like there's a lot of gearing up to get into these dresses I wear all the time. And so it was very freeing. That's my word. It was freeing to be able to go in there and put in a size 6. And then I picked a dress, and I'll post it for y'all to see, but I picked a dress that had an open back, because that's something I cannot wear. I cannot wear an open back anything because I have a girdle on and a squeam and Spanx, right? So you can't have an open back with that. So I had this really beautiful black dress that I plan on wearing when I win my $100,000, Carmen, and it has had my back out. And then I had something else I can't wear is I'm tall, and I don't wear rompers because like that pooch in the front doesn't look that hot in a romper, but I picked a romper, and it had a little like big bow on the chest, and then it had a little peak hole in the top too. So I picked that. And then I also picked like a bodycon dress, just because like you can't, like, I can pull off some bodycon dresses, like have like a lot of ruching and a lot of texture, but this one was pretty slick, and it was a really pretty yellow that I think is gonna look great on my gorgeous skin tone. See, guys, I'm fixing stuff. So I picked the yellow dress that was really pretty, and it was a bodycon dress that I wasn't gonna have to put like, you know, a squeam under, because then you have to worry about the zipper of the squeam showing, you know. But I don't have to worry about that at size 6. I'm like real hot. So that's what I picked. So yeah, I'm really excited about my future rentals and being excited to just choose what I want to choose.
Gosh, man, like even to listen to one another, like, doesn't it just make you go, like, I don't know, like biggest transformation, like it's not just about the weight, it's about you transforming from the inside out to become a better person, to believe that you're worthy, that you're worth it, that you're wanted, that, you know, all these things. And so anyway, I say all that to say, I am so freaking proud of all of you at the progress you've made, at the progress you're making every single day, at the habits you're changing, at the triggers you're finding and eliminating. And it's just, it is amazing. It is amazing to watch, to witness, to be on this journey with you. And so job well done to all of you. Super proud of you. And so as we come into week 6, it is about rooting out these old habits, these old ways of thinking, these old things, these old repetitious things that have allowed us to stay stuck, that have kept us from where we want to be, to identify them, kick them to the curb, and put in things that are actually going to help move us to our goal. And it's not about a short-term fix. It's not about putting a Band-Aid on it, because a short-term fix is going to give us short-term results. But when we actually change our habits, that is when we have long-term results. That is when you're 63 years old and, you know, you look like frickin' Christy Brinkley. That because like when your habits start aligning with where you want to go, how you want to think, the husband you want to be, the wife you want to be, the body you want to have, the finances you want to have, the business you want to have, the self-worth you want to have, when your habits start aligning with your goals in any area of your life, that's when you start having them. That's when you stop dealing with. Some of us have been dealing with some of these self-belief issues, secret eating issues, picking up things on the way home to eat issues, not preparing, not planning issues, not feeling worthy issues. Some of us have been dealing with these for decades. We've been going around the mountain. And the way we stop going around that mountain is we stop putting a Band-Aid on it. We stop pretending that it's all okay. And we start eliminating the habits that have led us to the bottom of the mountain. And we find some new habits that are going to lead us to the other mountain.